Mandla! Mandla! Mandla!
Mandla! Mandla! Mandla! Awethu! Awethu! Mandla! Awethu! Oliver Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo kwaphela abantu. Oliver Tambo. Oliver Tambo kwaphela abantu. Kwaphela abantu. Kwaphela abantu. Tambo Tambo bayasebulala eSouth Africa bayasedubola. Tambo Tambo bayasebulala eSouth Africa bayasedubola. Tambo Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo Tambo bayasebulala eSouth Africa bayasedubola. Tambo Tambo bayasebulala eSouth Africa bayasedubola. Oliver Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo Tambo kwaphela abantu. Tambo kwaphela abantu. Mandla! 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 Awethu! Awethu! High moral! High discipline! High moral! High discipline! High moral! High discipline! Mandla! 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 Viva Peter Mokaba! Viva! Viva Peter Mokaba! Viva! Viva Nelson, President Nelson Mandela! Viva! Viva President Anton Lembete! Viva! Viva President Oliver Tambo! Viva! Viva President Lulu Johnson! Viva! Viva President Melusi Kigaba! Viva! Mandla! Awethu! Viva President Kolmaine! Viva! Mandla! Uzoyithola kanjani? Hlele khoneni. Viva President Cyril Ramaphosa! Viva! Greetings to the National Executive Committee. Greetings to provincial leaders here from all 9 different provinces. Comrades, today is an historic moment. we are addressing all nine provincial provinces on hybrid. It has never happened in the NCU clique since 1944. Now you can clap hands for yourselves, comrades. Comrades, we are in. Comrades, comrades, Amandla, comrades, we must record this moment as an historic moment. Because every generation must define their own path. Our generation took a risk and said that we are going to convene all 9 provinces on hybrid. Because we can't make noise about 4IR, 5IR, but ourselves here, we don't practice it. Now it is a clear direction that all our structures at all levels must start using technology to facilitate our meetings. But this does not mean, comrades, we must move away from our core responsibility of mobilizing young people behind the banner of the African National Congress through mass mobilization in all corners of this country. It's a very big responsibility, especially now that we're going to the elections. Now, the door-to-door, we won't do it on virtual or hybrid. It will require you to go to houses and engage people on why they must vote for the African National Congress again. Comrades, this is an historic moment because, comrades, this conference is inspired by the Gwandebele generation that was given the responsibility to launch the NCU clique after a very difficult time after the unbanning. When many organizations were banned, and many organizations were formed all over the country, SAICO, Soweto Youth Congress, the UTF COSAS, and many others. The youth clique was banned. But a special generation led by different young leaders from SAICO, the likes of Peter Mokaba, the likes of Comrade Rapu, Cheki Silebi, met and said that in Gwandebele conference that from Kwanyamazana to Gwandebele, that they are going to relaunch the NCU clique. And part of the historic moments of that conference is that they define the autonomy of the NCU clique. Now what makes this collective and conference historic is that ourselves as a generation, after 8 years or have lost our own autonomy, we went to conference also and reclaim our autonomy to call our own meetings, our autonomy to drive our own policies, our autonomy to develop our own programs, our autonomy to make sure that the ANC becomes the parliament of the people again. Now we have reclaimed our autonomy as a generation. But comrades, we're faced with difficult challenges ahead. The triple challenges that face us ahead as generations are way beyond many generations. We're faced with a high level of unemployment, high level of poverty, high level of inequalities that needs us to selflessly wage a revolution to address all of these issues. And ourselves here as a generation, comrades, we're not a generation of those who complain only. We're a generation of young people's solutions. Because we said, we're no longer going to delegate this responsibility to pensioners. The responsibility to take this country forward is upon us. But you can't do that if you have no solutions. Now, part of the solutions, mainly to address one important issue of high level of unemployment that affects young people. I don't know, Comrade SG, that Tula Singh is there, who's the Minister of Employment, but it appears like he's a Minister of Unemployment. I don't know when we're removing him, but it's an urgent matter. The President of the country, Ramaphosa, responding to the issue of unemployment, employed a Minister of Employment who's becoming a Minister of Unemployment. Because that minister is not responding to the practical issues that the youth want to speak about. Part of the main issues that we wanted to raise coming to this conference, and I know the SG has raised it. My responsibility as a president, the SG calls upon you. I call you to war. Because the battle that we are going to do, it will require you to be sober to go to this war, because it is not going to be an easy battle. Part of the first thing that we must do, SG, is to discipline capital. We can't have industries in this country. Their only obsession in this country is to maximize profit at the expense of our own people. Our people every day are exploited at macro, many other areas, Spa, Pick and Pay, mines everywhere. They're exploited by the same industries that don't give back to this country. Now, SG, our response to that is that not more than 75% of raw materials must leave this country. It does not make sense, comrades. It does not make sense at all that a country so rich with platinum and many other raw material is so in poverty. It does not make sense, comrades, that our platinum must go and build economies in Europe, create employment for Europeans that have no minerals, while our people in South Africa die in poverty. Anyone who's not happy with that decision, SG, our soldiers are here, we're ready for war. The 75% of raw materials that remain in this country must assist us in the declaration that the President spoke about the reindustrialization. It doesn't make sense, comrades, that our factories are closing down every day, but raw materials leave this country every day to go and be processed in other countries. It doesn't make sense, comrades, that Germiston, the former industrial hub of Africa, it has become a ghost town, while our raw materials are leaving the country every day. We're saying that the 75% of the raw materials must be utilized to create employment for young people and other business opportunities in these factories. Anyone has a problem with that, SG, you must tell them that we are ready to go to war with them. Now, Tulas, the yellow communist called Tulas, is sleeping there in office while he's supposed to making sure that he brings forward this resolution to resolve these issues. Another issue, comrades, there is no way we can resolve the issue of our economy when you don't speak about the most important thing of reskilling the young people of South Africa. Young people of South Africa must have skills that respond to the economic activities of their own country. Your qualification, SG, of public management is not enough. You must go and register at TVET college and do a technical subject that will respond directly to economic issues of this country. We are calling upon that BA of yours, Temba. It is not enough. We are calling upon all of us here to go and reskill ourselves so that we respond to the economic demand of this country. The most important thing, comrades, another yellow communist called Blade must go and tell his sitters that they must stop taking back billions and billions of rands back to treasury when majority of young people are unskilled, when they have money for skills development. The skills revolution, if they are failing, TSG, Deputy President, warm up. We are going to make you ministers of these departments. We are not going to have people who are sleeping there. Comrades, we must not allow We must not allow a man there called Patel, who has now been reshuffled. We don't know why, because there's no constituency, to stop the project of reindustrialization. The ANC has long resolved that we must reindustrialize. That Patel there in that department of trade and industry, all he does is to give his friends money to continue to steal from this country, but not to resolve problems of this country. We must call upon the president to remove that Patel. We will find another young person to replace that man, because he's not ready. There can't be high level of unemployment in this country when there is a trade and industry department that is doing nothing. Now, it is very important, comrades, that we identify these departments as the important vehicles to resolve temporarily the problems that are faced by the young people of South Africa. And these are the departments that we've identified to resolve that. And comrades, you must not allow a narrative that the reason there's load shedding, it is because of our coal mines. There's this narrative, SG, GP, of few individuals in this country who want to impose renewables on us by force at the expense of coal. We're saying the most important base of producing energy in this country must be coal. The renewals must be able to add on the coal energy. They must not be used to outphase coal and turn towns like Witbank and Malahleni to be ghost towns at the expense of our people. We are not going to agree. It's a battle. We are ready to mobilize you, comrades, to go and fight. It can't be that in the middle of high level of unemployment, you are saying that you must go and close coal mines to benefit Europeans only if you stay here. We will protect our coal mines. We have enough coal to last us for more than 100 years. We'll use that coal to create employment for our people. We'll use that coal to generate energy security for South Africans. Comrades, SG, you have done a declaration. Now my job is to mobilize young people to war. Comrades, we are very clear, comrades, that we want not less than 50% of young people in all corridors of power. We want young people in parliament. We want young people in the legislature. We want young people in all senior government positions. We want young people in councils of universities. We want young people in boards. We want young people everywhere. We are unapologetic. Renyaka mabone. There in Northern Cape, Ernale mabone, lebone leliwan. Limpopo arnale bone. Mpumalanga arnale bone. Northwest arnale bone. Eastern Cape arnale bone. Gauteng arnale bone. Western Cape akhonagale. KZN arnale bone. We want lights everywhere. I know then Mpumalanga you are delayed in other areas. We will fast track it. Because, comrades, when we raised the issue of young people being in corridors of power, we were told that we are playful. Our response to them was that if we are playful, then you must go and put jumping castles there in parliament. After a meeting, we'll go and jump. Because we can no longer, comrades, delegate this responsibility to anybody else apart from ourselves. We've delegated this responsibility for 29 years. We can no longer do that. We want to take charge of our own future, and the only way to do that is to take power in all corridors of power. Comrades, on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the Freedom Charter says there shall be peace. But that does not mean that we are neutral. We are for peace, but we are anti-imperialists. We are anti-NATO, trying to establish itself in the East Europe. We are for peace, but we are not neutral. We are saying NATO must immediately retreat from imposing imperialism on us. We will fight back. We will side with those that fight against oppression. And NATO is for those that want to further oppress us, impose imperialism on us. Africa is sent behind because of imperialism. The minerals of Africa are stolen every day because of imperialism. Now we're saying that we're not neutral. We're for those, everyone that fights against the pushback of NATO are with them. But we're saying that we're for peace. Comrades, all of the things I've mentioned here, we will not achieve them when we have an enemy within us called substance abuse, which as the Youth League are not addressing. You can't advance, comrades. You can't advance a revolutionary program when you are high on drugs. You can advance a revolutionary program when you are high on alcohol. Comrade Ntsako, we are calling upon for an alcohol-free society until we achieve these revolutionary programs. This agenda can be led by Matawa. It needs sober minds to lead this program. Comrades, there is a clear, comrades, anti-black narrative run by the media. There's an anti-black narrative that is run that the ANC black-led government, it has failed the people of South Africa, and the better government is the one of apartheid. They run this narrative through storytelling, they run it through the media. Because there is a clear agenda, comrades, organized by everyone to take the ANC out of power so that they reverse the gains of freedom using the media. Now, comrades, if our society is not conscientized, they run a risk of falling into a trap of a narrative that we are a failed government, which is not true. We are a government with many weaknesses, but we are not a failed government. The ANC government has done a lot for the people of South Africa. And yourselves here, as the ambassadors of the movement, you must be able to explain that we've done this and this, and we've failed here. It is the ANC that said more can be done. Now it can be asked, comrades, on social media, when they attack leaders of the ANC or attack programs of the ANC, were the first ones to respond and fight against the ANC but not defend the ANC. There are members of the ANC here who love being in the EFF than in the ANC. Every time that one, the flip-flopper speaks, they even make him their own screensavers. When we speak against the flip-flop and the EFF, they're the first ones to call us to order, saying that, no, leave this EFF thing, man. Focus on the youth issues. They forgot that the EFF is the enemy of the revolution. The EFF is funded there in Europe. I can give you a practical example of the EFF, how is the enemy of the revolution. In its formation, they said that the land shall belong to the people. They said the ANC is selling out because it does not want to resolve the land issue. Then the ANC went to parliament and said, we agree, let's take the land and give it to the people. The first thing that they did, they took a flight to Britain to meet with their funders. Photos are available. When they came back, they said, no, ANC, we no longer fully agree with you. Tina was saying the Freedom Charter was wrong. The land shall belong to the state. They create a technicality that makes it impossible for us to take the land. Now, are those not flip-floppers? Then they go outside. They tell people that it's the ANC who doesn't want to give them the land. When it's themselves in parliament, they voted against the land going to the hands of the people. It's a reality. It is the same EFF, comrades, that says illegal foreigners must come to the country illegally, do crime in the country, sell illegal goods, abuse women, abuse children, abuse men, and they can't be traced because they'll be illegal in the country, which makes it impossible for law enforcement agencies to act on those people. It's the same EFF that finds nothing wrong with zamazamas terrorizing our communities on a day-to-day basis. Now, that EFF that calls itself economic freedom fighters, they are clear economic sabotagers. Because when our hospitals collapse because of illegal foreigners, who do you blame? The government. When our schools collapse because of illegal foreigners, who do you blame? The government. Because you can't plan and budget for people you can't account for in your own country. The only way you can plan and budget, you only plan and budget for those that you can account for in the country. Now the reason the work of the government of the ANC is always criticized and reversed, it is because of people which we can't account for the country. Now you can't say you are for the people of South Africa, but the best you do, every chance you do, you sabotage the work of the country. They try some shut down. How do you shut down your own country? It's a clear program that is funded by imperialists. Because the imperialists are not happy with the clear agenda of the ANC and the Youth League, and message of the ANC, to fight that the demographics of the country, the economy of the country must reflect the demographics of the country. Which means that the those must benefit from economic activity of the country, must the majority of the people of the country which are black by color. Now, they're not happy with that approach of the ANC. They find liberal organizations like the DA to reverse those gains. And comrades, if you're not aware, the real owner of the EFF, it is not the grandmother of Julius. It's the illegal smuggler, cigarette smuggler called Mazioti. If you want to look for the real owner, the lies that Julius goes around saying that the grandmother is the owner of the EFF is lying. Is using the name of the old woman wrongly. The real owner of the EFF is an illegal cigarette smuggler called Mazioti. Now, when there's instability in the country, the illegal cigarette smuggler is able to operate nicely. Now, every time Julius wants instability, You must know he's doing it for Mazioti. Comrades, on coalition governments, comrades, it can't be that comrades will agree as the youth league of the ANC that parties that have got one seat must be elected as mayors. Eh? Mukoni was voted by one person. Bariki Mayor Raya Ikurlen. We made a call that where we have majority, we must govern alone. Where the opposition has got majority, must govern alone. Because, comrades, there is something called the mayoral committee. It's a committee of the mayor. Now it means the mayoral committee must implement the manifesto of a political party that belongs to who? To the mayor. Now, how will we implement a manifesto of some party from Matatiel that has got 2 seats, one have got majority? Eh? Some Al-Jamaa here in Johannesburg. How will the ANC, now you are saying the ANC must neglect its manifesto and implement the manifesto of Al-Jamaa, which was voted by 5 people. Now we're calling upon the ANC to pull out of all collusions that don't benefit the majority of people of South Africa. Because democracy must be protected. Democracy says majority must rule. It's anti-democracy to allow minority to rule the majority. It's wrong. Why to allow minority to rule the majority? Now, we're saying that on Monday when we wake up, we must find that former SG of the ANC, Youth League, former president of the Youth League, Comrade William Balula of the SG of the ANC, he must write letters to all municipalities that they must pull out of those things. It's anti-democracy. Comrades, we must applaud Comrade Panyaza here in Gauteng. When other premiers are busy running around, don't know what they are doing, he is busy creating employment for the youth of Gauteng. Now we're saying that premiers of these other provinces don't create new things. Come to Gauteng, Panyaza must induct you, go back to your provinces and implement. Because part of the reasons, comrades, we have high level of migrations to Gauteng. It is because young people leave their provinces, they end up in wrong places trying to look for economic activities in Gauteng. Because in their own provinces, there is no economic activities. The ANC has resolved in its conference that we must create what we call economic corridors. Limpopo, Mpumalanga, invest in agriculture and agri-processing. Your schools, your high schools and TVET colleges must respond immediately to those issues. Then Skukune there. They must build an university there that focuses on agriculture and mining. We're saying we need to create economic corridors so that young people are not forced to leave their homes, not knowing what they'll eat, where they'll sleep, rushing to Gauteng, rushing for Panyaza when they've got their own premiers. Comrades, we are clear that our support for ZANU-PF to win the election of Zimbabwe is an important support. We know that they've got their own weaknesses which the ANC must assist to resolve. But comrades, we cannot allow our neighboring country, Zimbabwe, to be led by imperialists. It is a risk for our agenda for a total liberation of Africa. Than taking ZANU-PF out of power, we rather assist it to be a party that resolves problems of Zimbabwe. Now we're wishing ZANU-PF all the best in the next elections. We're saying that they must win and they must self-correct as how the ANC is self-correcting. Comrades, a campaign of one region, one university or TVET, one region, one district hospital or clinic, one region, one ward, one clinic, one townships, 3 police stations. It's a campaign that we must advance as the ANC Youth League. In conclusion, comrades, we are making these demands. We demand that the Reserve Bank shall be nationalized for the benefits of our people. In conclusion, comrades, we are clear that we are anti the privatization of state-owned entities. In conclusion, comrades, we demand that an urgent opening of a mining company as per the resolution of the ANC. In conclusion, comrades, we demand that the Water and Sanitation Department must urgently intervene in the water crisis that we're faced with. And we demand that in this intervention, all boards of water must be controlled by young engineers, must be controlled by young board members to make sure that they resolve this water crisis. Comrades, we demand that we urgently do away with informal settlements. The Department of Human Settlement must take the land where it's available, must build houses for our people, because we must restore the dignity of our people, which was taken away by simple apartheid. Because the Freedom Charter is clear that we shall provide shelter to our people. Comrades, we further demand and emphasize that all the doors of learning shall be open to all. By that we don't mean that a corrupt institution like NEFSAS must be given a responsibility to manage monies for that. For people to steal money of the youth. We mean that when you qualify to be an engineer, you must walk into a university, register and study. We mean that you have no responsibility to prove how poor you are for you to go to school. Comrades, all of these demands will only be achieved when we build a united youth league. All of these demands will only be achieved when we all go in all corners of this country to make sure that the ANC remains the only political organization that is in charge of this country. Because it's only the ANC who will be able to implement all our demands. There's a clear example, comrades, of a federal province led by a racist organization called the DA. A good example of them, there's a protest now, a taxi protest in the Western Cape. It only affects colors and blacks. Those who are in town there, they are continuing with their lives like there is no protest. Because the racist DA continued with an apartheid agenda of special planning of separating the poor, which are black in majority, from towns. Those who have been to the Western Cape, they'll know. You'll never find a poor person in the Western Cape after 7 p.m. They're all squeezed in Kukuletu. Because the DA special planning, there is a continuation of an apartheid system that blacks in majority must only go to town to sell their labor and go back to be squeezed in their townships. But it's only the ANC-led government that can resolve all those socio-economic challenges. But if, like now, close to 36% of the GDP is in the hands of those that are anti the National Democratic Revolution and the agenda of the movement, will be moving backwards. It means that, comrades, the moment the ANC is taken out of power, it means that the revolution is suspended. Because you can't advance the National Democratic Revolution towards the National Democratic Society without the state as a tool or a vehicle to arrive there. Now, the moment the state as a tool is taken out of the hands of the people's government, it's a clear program that the revolution is suspended. Now, every time the people of South Africa are angry at the ANC because we don't deliver services to them, you must know that we are moving 3 steps backwards. It means that the revolution is suspended. Now, comrades, we must unite. We must unite the ANC. We must unite all our structures. We are from a conference, comrades. Leadership KT, comrades. I'm with you here for 4 years. If you don't like me as a leader, you must know that I'm with you here for 4 years. Now, for 4 years, we are your leadership. In your region, if you don't like your chair or secretary, you must know that they are with you until their term ends. In your province, if you don't like your chair or secretary, you must know they are with you until their term ends. Now get used to the fact that you are going to be led. And comrades, those that know our style of leadership, comrades, we are for unity and stability. And those that are going to move against that, we are going to act on them very quickly. Because we know the importance of a stable organization to advance a revolutionary program. If there are Askaris who have infiltrated our structures, thinking that if they are not elected, there is no organization, they must know that this organization was formed in 1944. It will exist whether they are elected or not. Now, Macom, let's love each other again, comrades. PGMs have ended. If they're in Kanzeni, they've moved you in a branch forgive them. Let's love each other again. Because this agenda we're advancing will require us to be very united. Now, comrades, we are thanking you, comrades, for taking your time to come to this national conference. And I believe that the words of the SG and myself in our declaration closing will be the message that will be taken down to our structures. Comrades, political education is also one of the most important things. You must go back to the ground, comrades, and conscientize our comrades, because they can't advance this political program if they are unconscious soldiers. Now, comrades, we also have a responsibility, comrades, to go to branches of the ANC in this list process that are coming and nominate young people. Because young people will not go to parliament or legislature if yourselves have not nominated them. Let's catch more comrades. You know who must lead now. Allow your provincial leadership to assist you with the list on how to nominate. If you are not on the list, don't worry. 5 years is coming, we'll nominate you. Now, comrades, the SG that we have here is quality. He is going to run a very tight ship when it comes to nominations. Because for us to achieve the over 50% of representation, we will need majority of branches of the ANC, which mainly are led by young people, to nominate what must be nominated. Now, comrades, in thanking you, we are informing you also and thanking you, comrades, that on the 10th of September, we are going to an historic area where the Youth League was relaunched in Kwandebele to have our own anniversary there. Comrades, we appreciate the discipline you have shown here. You have shown high level of discipline. It was only one person from Vembe, but I will attend to him. That was disrupting. But the discipline that you have shown here, comrades, is highly appreciated. It is not easy, comrades, to organize the ANC Youth League under these difficult conditions. And comrades, if you're in the Youth League, they are homophobics. We are telling you that you must start leaving this organization, because this organization does not have homophobics. Now, comrades, Raleboga, Siabonga, Rakenza, Demadagwane. We thank all of you, comrades. Thank you very much. Kereto, ato, ato, a. Kereto, ato, ato, a. The foot. The foot. Oh. re robaletse tsoa tsoa ke re tsoa 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 re tsoa
robaletse tsoa tsoa yohle ke batla masotja yo 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 tsoa tsoa yohle ke batla masotja yo 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 yo